All right, it's a segment that we haven't done in a while, but welcome back to our first Sundays with Serby of 2025. And if you don't know, each week I catch up with the legendary New York Post columnist Steve Serby to dive deeper into his exclusive one-on-one conversations with the biggest names in sports. And this week, Steve talked with Yankee center fielder Trent Grisham, who opened up about his journey to the Bronx, his mental approach to the game, and why playing for the Yankees is exactly the kind of challenge he's always wanted. And now, returning to Sundays with Serby is the one and only, the legend himself, Steve Serby. Steve, long time no see. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Last time I saw you, Dex, you had hair.
I did. Now I do not. Things change, man. Things change in the New York Minute. You know that. You still have hair, which is good. And it's still the same
Yes, I
color.
do. Why the change?
Hey, it was a new year, new time, new season. It was time for some change. Plus, want a little bit of less maintenance up top. So I decided to go with that.
I think it looks great. Did your wife likes it?
Yep, everybody likes it. I told you this before. The only person that didn't like it at first was my daughter, but now she's a big fan. So she gets to smack daddy in the head. So there you go.
But before we begin, Dex, I have a
Yes.
question for you. If you were offered the Knicks job, would you take it?
Nobody wants me coaching the Knicks, but I think it is an attractive job to take. So yes, I guess I would say yes because somebody who grew up a Knicks fan, it would be a dream to lead them to a championship. I think it's an attractive job, but you don't want me coaching the Knicks. That's all I'm saying. You don't
And,
want me.
well, you'd have to take a pay cut too. So I don't know if it makes.
You're being way too kind to the people here at the New York Post. That is all I will say. Way too kind to the people here. All right, Steve, let's talk about your Q&A this week with Trent Grisham because he described his experience as a Yankee as, quote, simple, strictly about winning. So what did you take away from his appreciation for that business-minded culture in the Bronx, and how does it shape the way that he approaches the game right now?
Well, remember he started his career with the Milwaukee Brewers. Then he went to the San Diego Padres. Never got to a World Series, so this is his chance at age 28 to get to his first World Series, and he thinks this is a World Series team. I know they've struggled lately, but again, these struggles will be long forgotten once the Yankees begin to heat up in the hot summer. But um, he loves the fact that there are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. His quote was, "We're here to win. Case closed. Nothing else matters." And he pointed to Max Fried as the personification of a Yankee who was not a Yankee prior to this year. That business-like approach, that win at all costs mentality. That's what it's all about when you play for the New York Yankees. And he loves the pressure. He loves playing on the New York stage. He's only a couple of home runs behind his career high of 17 in 2022 with San Diego. And he admits of course, there's pressure that comes with playing on the New York stage with the New York Yankees, but to him, it's fun. And he's a two-time Gold Glove center fielder, and he's aware of the tradition of Yankee center fielders.
Yeah, and you gotta love that. I loved hearing that from him. Excuse me, in your Q&A with him, he just likes the pressure. He wants to rise to it. He likes the challenge, and that's just amazing to hear from a player. And he talked a lot, Steve, about loving the mind and its role in baseball. From what he told you, how central has that mental edge been to his survival and growth in the majors, especially given that his physical tools weren't always elite? He's not a guy that could just rely on athleticism. He's had to work for it. So how's that mental edge helped him throughout?
Yeah, well, he's not the biggest guy, he's not the strongest guy, but he was a first-round pick of the Milwaukee Brewers. But um, he began to spiral into a dark place when he forgot about what makes him who he is. He began to play the way I played in Little League, fearfully. Those were painful memories for me. But uh, he started worrying, about don't do this, don't do that, instead of playing freely. And he began to play freely in that 2022 wild card series against the Mets at Citi Field. He had been struggling most of the year, and then he remembered what got him going in the major leagues, and that was playing freely, staying in the present moment, and that's what always gave him an edge as a player. And he thrived in that series against the Mets. The Padres swept the Mets, of course. And he always prided himself on thinking differently, just because all the mechanical changes to his swing and worrying about this pitcher and that pitcher, he just wants to play relaxed and play freely and do what he does best and not worry about all the things that go into competing against the best players in the world. So he values sports psychology. He has met with sports psychologists, and he has never forgotten the lessons that they taught him and that he reminds himself of on a constant daily basis. And it works for him. And he's got 15 home runs now, and his career high is 17. And he's playing that Gold Glove center field for the New York Yankees. So he's been a pretty good addition. I think Aaron Boone would second that emotion.
Yeah, I think he would. And I think the Yankee fans are thrilled to see him in pinstripes. He's done a fantastic job thus far in the Bronx. Now, Steve, it's been a while since we have done this, and you always have surprises for me on this segment that we've been doing for a couple of years. So I had a surprise for you and the people who are fans of this segment because, I came across something back in the archives that I want you to take a look at, and we're going to take a look at it right now. It's some older video. It's sports related. I think you'll appreciate it.
I think I know. I think I might know what it is.
Do you? I'm wondering if you will. Okay, let's take a look.
With me is Steve Serby, longtime beat writer for the New York Jets, for the New York Post, covering the New York Jets, and now football columnist. And Steve, looking at the Jets picks, Al Toon's got to be a big boost for them.
Oh, he's just what the doctor ordered. 6'4", 200 pounds, possibly another James Lofton or Mike Quick. The Jets will settle for either one. A guy who can stay healthy, and that's something the Jets have been lacking at wide receiver. Maybe they'll trade Wesley Walker now. I know that's what some of the draft nicks seem to want, but good pick. Second round, the Jets picked a 215-pound safety, strong safety, probably moving in for Kirk Springs, I would imagine.
Bringing in a guy like Toon, let's go back to Toon for a moment. What does that do for a quarterback like Ken O'Brien?
Ken O'Brien, with all due respect to Ken, needs all the help he can get. And Toon's a guy who can catch the ball in a crowd and go over the middle, and he's 6'4" and he can leap, and he's got great hands. And I'm sure Mike Hickey was doing high fives in the war room when Toon was still there.
I think I knew that was coming from my friend Lee Insler, I believe.
He is the one who sent this to me and made me aware of this. I said, we got to show Steve. What can you tell the people about, do you remember that interview with the great Sam Rosen, who was interviewing you there? What do you remember about that? And the hair. The hair is just looking a lot different there, my friend.
Yeah, those were unfortunately, those were my hair blower days.
Yeah, I can see. I can tell.
Yeah, I can't believe. Let's say I was not married during that time, so I can't blame my wife for letting me out of the house. I'll blame it on the hair blower, I guess. And I don't remember my hair being that dark. I thought I was born with this. I was born with this color.
For me personally, I don't know about other people. I've never seen your hair dark at all. As long as I've known you, your hair is exactly as how it is. So.
Well, that might have been an imposter then. Maybe that wasn't me.
Listen, I have to say, I like the hair, I like the shirt, and you handled the interview pretty well. You almost a little bit of shade to Ken O'Brien there, but you handled the interview pretty well. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. It was good to see Sam. He's so versatile. Sam Rosen.
That's right, the great Sam Rosen.
One of the all-time Hall of Famers, and my honor to be interviewed by Sam Rosen.
Well, I think it was an honor for him to interview you.
And now
go ahead.
You'll burn that tape after this, right?
Oh no. That is gold. This is now in the New York Post archives.
You can use that as blackmail against me for sure.
Not going to do that. I'm just trying to see. I just wanted to show the people that watch this segment how long the legendary Steve Serby has been at it for us here at the New York Post. That he was out here on ESPN giving some draft coverage breakdown back when you covered the Jets. You've been doing it for a long time, and we're glad to have you back. Welcome back, Steve. We're glad to have you
Well,
back.
thank you. That Altoon draft. Let me quiz you 1 second.
Oh.
Who did the Jets pass on in that draft?
So, because you're asking
What
me that,
what wide receiver?
I was a wide receiver, not a quarterback. What year was this again? That is.
It was the 86, right? It was 86.
Yeah. I don't remember. Who? Tell me.
Well, they actually drafted Toon ahead of Eddie Brown. Remember Eddie Brown from the Bengals?
Mm-hmm.
And there was another fellow that you don't remember, 86? San Francisco.
I was too young then.
The San Francisco 49ers drafted a guy after Toon.
Jerry Rice.
That's correct.
That's I'll be nice here and say that feels very Jets-like. That's what I'll say.
Right, but at the time, nobody probably
knew
not
that.
even. No, maybe Bill Walsh knew, but he was the only one. But that was 86. So in 83, when they drafted Ken O'Brien, you remember who the Jets passed on, right?
Well, that was a good draft that year. There was a bunch. Elway.
No. Marino is correct.
Yep, Marino.
Yeah. So, again, hindsight's 20/20, but the Jets could have had Marino thrown to Jerry Rice.
But they are the Jets. That I'll say. That I'll say. That, folks, is Steve Serby. He's back with us. Sundays with Serby. Steve, we're going to do this again next week. It was good to have you back. It was good to take a look into the past and see when your hair was not the color that it is now. And we'll see you next week, sir. Appreciate you.
All right. Thank you, Dex. Good to see you again. Love the hair.
Thank
or
you.
lack of.
Or lack of. There you go.